Rock goes viral after an incredible weight loss. So, I heard he actually had a health problem.
He lost a lot of weight. Have you seen him now? He's slimmed down. I bet getting that big probably felt like shit.
Well, someone was like, "Hey, your heart's gonna explode, right?" And number two,
you're
gotta
50,
you're
and your heart's
you're
gonna
50.
explode.
Your heart's working overtime, and you don't have the forged internals
He's
anymore.
like 50.
You know, I know people like it's popular to hate on him, and he's like, you know, he's said some dumb stuff, and you know, he kind of does come off as inauthentic.
The world's strongest man or Hollywood's biggest illusion? That's the question millions are asking right now about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. For decades, he was the people's hero, the iron-willed icon who rose from wrestling arenas to conquer Hollywood, amassing hundreds of millions, blockbuster after blockbuster, and an army of over 400 million loyal followers. But today, that empire is shaking. Whispers of steroids, failed charities, and a carefully polished persona are erasing the myth piece by piece. So how does a man who once symbolized strength, discipline, and hope become a headline for deception? Let's rewind. Long before the fame, Johnson was electrifying face of WWE. The catchphrases, the eyebrow raise, the thunderous charisma. He wasn't just a wrestler, he was the superstar. Hollywood took notice fast. Soon, he bulldozed through the screens in Fast and Furious, Jumanji, and Disney's Moana, stacking up a legacy worth billions at the box office. Forbes crowned him the highest paid actor alive, sometimes pulling in over $120 million a year. On Instagram, he was untouchable. 400 million followers, devouring every motivational post, every workout grind, every chicken and rice meal. To his fans, he wasn't acting, he was a living proof that hard work, clean eating, and discipline could achieve the impossible. But then, the cracks began to show. The first came with his body. At 50 years old, Johnson's physique looked bigger and leaner than it did in his prime wrestling years. That raised eyebrows. Experts like Greg, Joe Rogan, and Derek from more plates, more dates lined up in the same claim. There's no way that kind of mass can be built and maintained naturally at that age. Steroids, growth hormones, TRT, whatever the cocktail was, they are good. And then, just as the accusations reached at a boiling point, something shocking happened. At the Venice Film Festival, fans saw Johnson's frame shrunk down, mass gone, muscle melted, his once mighty body looking smaller than ever, almost overnight. To critics, this wasn't dedication to a role. It was the classic crash of someone cycling off performance enhancer. Rogan mocked Johnson's old excuses of trying steroids just once at 18 as laughable. Deceit tore into him with brutal sarcasm. The rocks turned into a pebble. Social media ate it alive, and suddenly, the man once hailed as the hardest worker in the room became the internet's biggest suspect. But the body scandal was just the beginning. Enter the Maui wildfire controversy. In 2023, devastation tore through Hawaii. Families lost homes, lives were shattered, and emotions were raw. Johnson, alongside Oprah Winfrey, launched the Maui People's Fund, pledging $10 million and asking the public to contribute. At first, it looked noble, but the optics flipped fast. The Rock, a man worth nearly $1 billion, many barely surviving paycheck to paycheck to chip in. Outrage exploded. "You could buy Maui," one furious user posted, "and you're asking us for donations?" The backlash was brutal. Fans accused him of guilt-tripping the working class while protecting his own fortune. Even worse, critics slammed the fund for lack of transparency. Where exactly was the money going? Why didn't Johnson and Oprah cover more of the costs themselves? To many, it felt less like charity and more like a PR move gone wrong. And just like that, two separate storms, steroids and Maui, merged into a single devastating narrative. A man who built his career on being real, being authentic, being the people's champion, suddenly looked like a brand built on smoke and mirrors. The muscles shrinking wasn't just about steroids, it was about trust. The Maui Fund backlash wasn't just about money, it was about betrayal. Fans didn't want perfection, they wanted honesty. And in both cases, critics say Johnson chose the illusion over the truth. Now the question isn't whether The Rock can lift the heaviest weights or star in billion-dollar movies. The question is, can he ever lift the weight of loss lost trust. Because in today's world, transparency is everything. Muscles fade, fame fades, but once credibility cracks, it's almost impossible to glue back together. So is this the end of People's Champion? Or can Dwayne Johnson rise from the rubble and prove he's more than the scandals that surround him? That, my friends, is a story of still being written. Watch this video next and don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers.
Game.